posted about spotting white cement 4s at Nike outlets. Now, this should be good news, right? Iconic Jordans, easily available at a discount? Fantastic. But instead, the poor soul was sad. Why? Because, and I quote, the chase is gone. The chase? Let's talk about the chase. Because sneakerheads love to romanticize the chase like it's some sacred rite of passage. But in reality, the chase is just code for you lost sleep, missed work, and probably yelled at a Foot Locker employee named Kevin who was just trying to get through his shift. There is nothing noble about that. It's masochism dressed up as culture. But let's take a step back. White cement 4s showing up at outlets should be a good thing.
That's a bar. That is a bar. Also, I'm filming this on National Coffee Day. You see, I got my caramel ice. I got it, okay? Iced coffee. When are we getting an iced coffee emoji also? Like, Apple, you're doing all the other things, but the most important thing. But some of the features you have on the new phone are great. I'm not buying it right now, but they're so great. But let's get into it real quick, okay? I will not be the only person, I'm sure, to make a video on this. I've made one video, filmed that, ran out, got my coffee, came back, and I was like, you know what? Jacques said everything that needed to be said, and I know, I speculated maybe someone wouldn't like the Jordan 11 video that I made, but like, I know people won't like this one. There are two very different camps right now when we're discussing sneakerheads, camping out, and the chase. I will never deny that it is certainly a part of sneaker culture. It does not have to be a part of everyone's journey and story. As someone passionate about sneakers, as someone who has been into sneakers, collecting, learning about them, respecting the history, buying them for decades, it doesn't have to be. But we love to glorify the struggle. And it's not just in sneakers, but sneakerheads now, they really do sometimes sound like the old bitter generations because they had to walk, 4 or 5 miles in the snow.
If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
To school and from school, they have an issue with the fact that there may be a bus system for kids, or parents have the ability to drop their kids off. Heaven forbid we improve experiences and systems and the operation of things. Heaven forbid. I can tell also some of you that want to glorify camping out because maybe you had great experiences, right? But like also, as someone that has worked at a sneaker store, I didn't want you camping out. I didn't. I just didn't. Do you know what it's like as an employee when you're told to be careful and you need to sneak out the back to like take your shoe to your car and put it in the trunk and have to work a whole shift, and you're certainly hoping that nobody scoped you out, that you were walking to your car so like they don't go and try to steal a sneaker. That's it. We had to take precautions for our safety. Because when you're walking, you walk in a mall, you work in a mall, you know what it says. You can't bring firearms in there. Nor should I have to protect myself. But you certainly had to keep your head on a swivel when it was Jordan 11 release day. All thanks to 2011. And 2011 is the release day, of course, in relation to the Air Jordan 11 Concord that so many people talk about. Because that was the height of sneaker campouts and being able to rush a store. Like, people getting trampled was the height of it. Like, do you hear yourself? I'm sure the person that was trampled didn't feel like that was the height of like anything. But people have great stories. I love that people have stories, they have memories, but your subjective preference and your memories, they don't constitute a standard by which we need to hold everyone accountable to prove and validate their passion in sneakers. This is where it's really like, be damned who gives a shit about the term sneakerhead. That's really where this conversation ends up leading to. Because what you characterize as a sneakerhead, I might not fit that definition. Because no, I have never camped out for a shoe. Let me be clear. Growing up, I was all of like a $1.15 soaking wet, okay? The muscle, the size, whatever you see now, that took years to build, okay? And to have. And even then, I'm still small when you see me in person. I'm not big. I'm 5'6", okay? I'm not big. So I was always aware of like, what situation am I putting myself in if I go to camp? What situation am I putting myself in? But people will get upset because and think that like you weren't true to this if you didn't choose to put yourself in this situation. And back then, I wasn't licensed to carry, okay? Because if some ish pops off, if cops aren't going to get there soon enough, we've seen far too many men stand around when unfortunate things have happened to women. So that's always something. As a man, that's something you never have to think about. And I have male friends that tell me this. There are certain things they never even think about until they have daughters. And then it crosses their mind, oh wow, like this is something she has to keep in the forefront of her mind. I, as a man, am not necessarily doing that. That's not to say men don't think about their safety, but like as a woman, yeah, I absolutely had to put that as top priority number one. I do. I still do. To this day. Like, I'm not about to brandish it on screen or anything, but like, one of the reasons I am licensed to carry as a woman is because of the dangers and different things. So like, if I don't have to put myself in a situation like that, then I'm not. Because right now you're asking me to camp out. I'm not going alone. And I don't mean just with a friend. Okay? I'm not going alone. So I really want us to get away from how we like to categorize a sneakerhead, you know, these crazy restrictions that we want to put on it. And I'm not saying gatekeeping doesn't have a place, because it does for a number of reasons. The way people wanted to commodify sneakers, look at it just as an investment, which means all they care about is the price going up and up and up in the resale market. Not something that I care about, not something a lot of you care about. We just want access to the shoes that we want. But you have some where their entire identity and their self-worth is based on the secondary market value of their shoe. We've talked about that before. And maybe that's part of the problem. People will have their identity wrapped up in that, and they also have their identity wrapped up in suffering. If I can suffer enough, if I feel like I've suffered more than you have for the shoe, I deserve it more. I'm more true to this than you are because I camped out for 10 plus hours. Some are going to tell you that sounds like unemployed behavior. I'm just going to be real with you. I don't default to that because the person could have their own business. They could have chosen to take a vacation day. You can spend your PTO however you want to. People will prioritize what they want to prioritize, but like you are going to have some say like that sounds like unemployed behavior if you're choosing to like be in these conditions to just camp out. Not for me. It's never been for me. And I'm perfectly okay with saying, like, I've never camped out. But there will be some that will say, well, TJ, you're not a real sneakerhead. But mind you, I'm not a real sneakerhead to some people for a number of reasons, right? I don't hold that title with prestige for a number of people, and that's okay. Hopefully it sits well with you if you don't fit the specific mold and rundown, okay, or characteristics of how they want to classify somebody as being true to this. I hope it doesn't affect you either. But Cousteau is absolutely right in every way, shape, and form. Okay, we glorify the struggle and we dress it up as the chase, proving your passion. I think it's one of these other additional weird social experiments that somebody needs to study on why do we want it to be this way? Like if it doesn't have to be, why do you want it to be this way? So some have only lived in the raffle era. Sure, they can't help when they were born. That's another, time where I'll stick up for young people where people will say, you weren't outside. They were 5, bro. No, they weren't outside. They were 5. They were watching cartoons. No, they weren't outside. They are operating in the world in which they're able to now that they have disposable income. If it's not campouts anymore, blame the people that made it unsafe. Truly. And if you've ever worked in a mall, okay, where shootings have happened and things like that, because I have, not something you wanna even mess around with. Okay, I've had a manager in my store when I worked there get a gun pulled on them at the counter. And we were still in a good part of town. So imagine if you're not and you're trying to camp out. All right, so Cousteau said a word. This is where I stand. I want this conversation to be done with, the things we can leave like in 2025. And you guys know I have a list of don't sleep, must have, poor man's. If you're broke, just say that. I have a list of things I would love to just leave like out of sneakers because it doesn't make any rational sense. And neither does downplaying someone's, their passion for this because they don't camp out. So my thoughts, go ahead and share yours. I'm sure it'll be an interesting conversation in the comment sections. Just be respectful, okay? Your opinion is only a fact in your world. Remember that, all right? Act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.